Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's Bruno MF, Michael Fletcher, alongside my good buddy Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the possible arrival of Michael Bullock. If he shows up, then we'll catch up on what he missed. If he's not, then I guess we'll see him on Tuesday night. What we got is TNA Impact. We got Smackdown live, and we're just gonna dive right on in. So, with that said, we're just gonna kick it right on off. We did have TNA Impact once again, finally, for the first time in it seems like forever. It was about a month. Um, this was from Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida, formerly the original one of the original homes for NXT back in the day. And we started it off um, with, we had some promo segments along the way. Um, so we're just not gonna waste too much time on that. The first fight of the night that we did have was Indy Hartwell versus Danny Luna. It was Danny Luna winning the match in 6 minutes and 10 seconds via disqualification. Um, this thing kind of spun out of control, as you would say, and it was a solid match. I don't think there was really much to say. I wish the match could have been longer, but I could give this about 2 stars, and really nothing more. However, um, Indy Hartwell did issue a challenge to Danny Luna for a no DQ fight, and that was to be down at the Turning Point show. Anthony will get into Turning Point on Tuesday night as part of his Ridiculously Raw. So, with that said, Anthony, it is yours.
All right, MF. Hartwell seems to be blowing off some steam after the loss at Bound for Glory, which is fine, as long as it doesn't mean an angry version of her or whatever TNA loves to do in that situation. Indy Hartwell has something, though. I'm not sure if having her as the straightforward hero is it. Maybe find something for her, as it's not like there are a ton of options at the top of the moment. So I'm gonna give it a solid 2.5 stars for the effort. So with that being said, yes, Tuesday night on Ridiculously Raw, I will share the exclusive results of TNA Turning Point. You'll have to wait until then. Sorry. So not much more to say. MF, set me up for the next match if you would.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have a cutout. Cedric Alexander versus Jason Hotch. Cedric Alexander winning the match in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. We're just going to blow right by that. No point in talking. This one we will talk about. Heather by Elegance versus Kalani Jordan for the TNA Knockouts title. Kalani Jordan winning the match in 9 minutes and 5 seconds. Anthony, it is yours.
Solid 3 stars. Kalani Jordan gets to show off her athleticism and beats the weaker member of the team in the process. It's still weird having her be an invading champion defending against heels, as Jordan just recently turned heel. I'm sure someone will get the big win over Kalani sooner or later, though. I'm not sure just how big that's going to be, as she doesn't feel like some horrible, evil monster champion right now. So, not much more for me to add here. So, I'm going to give it a solid 3 stars for the effort. And with the win, Kalani moves on to Turning Point, where she meets the other half of the Elegance brand, M by Elegance. And we'll get into that on Tuesday when I share my exclusive results. So, not much more. MF, your thoughts? 3 stars for me.
Yeah, so it was a 3-star bout, no doubt about it. Solid fight, nothing more really to add here. So we're just gonna dive into the main event. It was Ryan Nemeth versus Mike Santana for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The fight gets thrown out because NXT invaded. That's right. Brooks Jansen, Lexis King, Charlie Dempsey, Tyson DuPont, Tyreek Igwe, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, they hit the ring. Then TNA stars hit the ring to try to combat that. But in the midst of all this chaos, Frankie Kazarian called his shot. He cashed in on the trophy on Mike Santana, the winner of the bout, in 55 seconds, and new TNA World Heavyweight Champion Frankie Kazarian, and boy, did this set the internet ablaze. Fans were furious. Fans were mad. How could you do that to Mike Santana? You buried him, the whole 9 yards. Apparently, what happened was it looks like something personal must be going on with Mike Santana. We don't know what's going on. It seems like he's 86ed out on this one. Um, it's a personal matter. There's not much details we can go off it, but history made. We have a new champion. Frankie Kazarian finally becomes the TNA World Champion. Anthony Florio, not the way he would, not the way we would expect it to go, but in the Call Your Shot, this is similar to WWE's version of the Money in the Bank. Anytime, any place, anywhere. The first time he tried to do it was at Bound for Glory. One problem, he never had the trophy in possession, so he couldn't call the shot. He did. He got it. The belt's his.
Frankie Kazarian has been a veteran in this business for 23 years, or right around the 22 to 23 year mark. He was a TNA original from the early days when TNA first started. While I'm happy for him in that sense, this I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I'm willing to give them some time and hope that they have some kind of a hot angle out of this. Using the Money in the Bank like cash in on the first real night after Santana winning the title at Bound for Glory is as stereotypical of a TNA move as you can get. They better have something huge planned, because otherwise, this is another horrible move. While I'm happy for Frankie Kazarian in that sense, I mean, like I said, he was one of the best wrestlers to never win the TNA Heavyweight Championship. Him and his longtime buddy, his longtime partner, Christopher Daniels, was the other. And Christopher Daniels will forever be the best wrestler to never win the TNA Heavyweight Championship. He should have had at least one run with that thing, but he didn't. And now Frankie Kazarian, as the old saying goes, better late than never. I can understand that, but this was not the way to do it, not the time or the place to do it. I mean, I don't understand. So Carlos Silva and the boys, they better have something big coming out of this, because if they don't, well, I don't know. So it's obviously going to be an NA. I mean, I'm not gonna put a rating on this match.
No point. Yeah.
But great for Kazarian. He's worked so hard for it, but honestly, this was not the way to do it. Not the time or the place to do it either. So move on.
Mm-hmm. Overall review. Look,
I started off.
I get it. It was the first night back. It felt like a 6 out of 10 for me. There wasn't really anything amazing except the angle that we had. It looks like we might be going. Is it possible TNA and NXT might be going to war? Like legit war? I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, there's really nothing more to say there. And 6 out of 10, Anthony, it's yours.
I'm going to go a little higher, 6.5. This was far from their finest hour, as it took a month to get here. And it feels like every bit of the momentum from Bound for Glory is long gone. At the end of the day, this show was trying to set up a hasty turning point, and that went well enough. But then they had the big deal at the end. I'm really not sure why Santana lost here, but I'm going to need a hell of a reason to take the title off of him after he spent months becoming the hottest thing in the company. Either way, it was not a good ending, and it really does not bode well for the company's immediate future. 6.5 out of 10. Let's get into Smackdown.
All right, we started off with a promo segment by the Face Women's Squad: Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky, and the bomb went off. Charlotte Flair has said she is out. She will not be a part of the team. She will not run with the girls because of Rhea Ripley. And she basically said, I think you're a conniving snake. I don't like you. I never liked you. And I know you feel the same way. And this isn't bygones be bygones. I cannot accept the fact that I need to be your partner in War Games. Nope, not doing it. I'm out. Lexi, I love you. You're my friend. You do you. But as far as this goes, I'm not doing it. I'm out. I will say this. The promo segment was a mess. I didn't like it. However, I will say this. The most authentic person in the promo segment was actually Charlotte Flair. She had a purpose. She had reasoning. She had everything right. And I had nothing against Charlotte. Even the decision to back out and leave. Because yes, her rivalry with Rhea Ripley is well documented. And it went through a couple of WrestleManias along the way for that to happen. So, does it make sense in the grand scheme that this happened? Most likely not. But it opens now 2 spots because it's 5-on-5. Who fills those 2 gaps now? So, I get it. And I kind of feel like now they're going to push Charlotte for something bigger. It looks like they might do Charlotte and maybe Jade Cargill. That might be the next road. Has Charlotte fight Jade for the belt so that they get her away from the War Games. So it looks like Charlotte was never supposed to be a part of the War Games. And I know creative is getting a lot of flack from the fans. But this is one of the rare times where I can't say nothing bad about Charlotte, but Rhea, Io, Lexi, dude, your promo segment needed a lot of work. That was horrible on their part. And even my buddy Jake Turner called it out, said that was a cluster bleep of a segment. And he actually said the only sane person, the only person that was actually really good was Charlotte Flair. I agree. Charlotte was fine. All the other 3, I don't know what the hell they were doing. So it is what it is. I'm done. Florio, go. It's yours.
This was the kind of segment that could have accomplished the same thing in a quick backstage moment. It did not do anything to make us look forward to the match, but it did leave us with questions, so at least it created a little intrigue. It's nice to see people on the same team acknowledging their history and how much they dislike each other. Sometimes it feels like people get on the same side and suddenly all of their previous animosity means nothing. And this opens up a lot of possibilities here. I mean, with Charlotte now out, this opens the door maybe for AJ Lee, possibly, to join this team. I mean, so many. And I just came across something. Looks like there was some sort of never mind. I thought I saw something, but I guess not. I mean, Nikki Cross could possibly be in this match. Nikki Bella, maybe, or Nikki Cross could possibly be in this. So, there's so many possibilities, but we only have, a little bit of time to figure it out. And I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Lee is ultimately the one who goes into this. I mean, I wouldn't be. And
I've heard,
no,
I even
definitely,
heard even maybe Lyra Valkyria and Bailey being number 4 and number 5.
most definitely. Most
So,
definitely. That's another possibility.
mhm.
And we just gotta we just have to wait and see how it plays out. We gotta think about how it's gonna go, and that's all there is to say on that.
Mm.
So nothing more to say. Let's move on to our first match of the night, and I'll take it.
All right. And with that said, it was the last time is now tournament match. Jey Uso versus The Miz. Jey Uso wins it in 10 minutes and 11 seconds. Anthony, main event, Jey Uso one step closer.
Yeet. 3.25 stars. Miz and Jay. This was a solid match, but nothing to write home about. Both guys look good, but there was a lack of urgency in this one. The Miz should have had a match with John Cena during this farewell run. He has more history with John Cena than most people. Corey Graves on commentary joked that The Miz has fought Cena over 100 times, but the win-loss record wasn't available. And it's hilarious to me that The Miz is still using the kicks he took from Bryan Danielson. So it's a solid 3.25 stars. And like I said, Miz, they should have had at least one Miz and Cena match during this farewell tour, but they didn't do that. But that's okay. Jey Uso moves on, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the full brackets look like for this thing. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't know what the brackets look like just yet, but hopefully soon enough we'll get a full bracket reveal, and then we can go from there. So solid 3.25. Not much more to say. MF Jey Uso moves on in this tournament. Yeet.
Yeah, solid, three and a quarter, no doubt. Uh, Good matchup, could have been better, but I'm not too mad about it. So next up we had was Ilya Dragunov doing one of his United States Open challenges, and Axiom answers the bell. Dragunov wins the match in 11 minutes and 32 seconds. What a matchup. Great battle. Another 3.25. You can make an argument for 3.5, but this was an excellent fight. Um, they both brought it, and then obviously Torpedo Moscow, and then DH Bomb. More devastating than a hammer and sickle, as I like to say, to end the match. And more importantly, Dragunov successfully defends the United States Heavyweight Championship. Great matchup. Like I said, 3.25, 3.5. Anthony, it's yours.
Solid 3.5 stars. I'll go as far as to call it the fight of the night once again. From the moment the bell rang, this was a fast-paced and entertaining match. Axiom is one of the best high flyers in WWE, and Ilya Dragunov has proved he is one of the most versatile, so it took them no time at all to find their groove. We keep saying that Ilya Dragunov has been the most consistent wrestler on Smackdown, and that was proven again last night. He and Axiom stole the show. Ilya Dragunov has so much more power than most guys his size. He is deceptively strong and uses it wisely. The springboard DDT spot was nuts. They almost didn't land it. They almost did not land it, but it worked and looked brutal. So there isn't much more for me to add. Solid 3.5 stars, easily the fight of the night. So with that, MF, let's move on.
Yeah, all right. And then the next matchup that we have on the fight card here is LA Knight going one-on-one with the mystery opponent in the last time is now tournament. And it was none other than Matt Cardona, a.k.a. Zack Ryder. LA Knight winning the match in 8 minutes and 32 seconds. Anthony, is yours.
Solid 2.5 stars. These guys both use a similar style in the ring, so they were able to develop chemistry quickly so they can make this a competitive fight. LA Knight and Zack Ryder seem to be on equal footing. Neither man could get the upper hand for too long before their opponent would make a comeback. it made the outcome a little harder to predict, which is always a good thing. Ryder put up a good fight, but he was unable to kick out of the BF after the BFT. LA Knight scores the win to advance to the next round. I'm going to tell you something here. Zack Ryder and LA Knight could actually be a great tag team together. They have so many similarities. And the fact that WWE had a remix of his theme ready and he had Zack Ryder specific gear might be, keyword might be, an indication that he is on his way back to WWE to join his wife, Chelsea Green. So, and it would make a lot of sense. So, we'll see what happens. 2.5, teetering on 2 3/4 of a star. No surprise about the outcome. LA Knight needed the win a lot more. I know a lot of people have been very critical of the way LA Knight has been booked over the last several weeks. Hopefully, this is the start of bigger and better things for LA Knight. So he advances in a 2.5 to 2 3/4 star match. Funny moment on commentary when you hear the Ryder song, MF yells out "what?" and I go, "Oh no, not this goof!" And then he shows up. MF goes, "Yes!" And then even throws in a gorilla. I love it. But he does not move on. Yeah, LA Knight does. So great to see Ryder back. I mean, MF, let the speculation begin. I think he's on his way back to WWE, and if that is true, I think the logical thing to do would be to put him on Smackdown so he can be with his wife Chelsea Green and go from there. 2.5, 2 3/4. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, 2 1/4. I thought it was a solid matchup. Nothing more to say. You said everything that needed to be said on that one. So next up we had was B-Fab going 1-on-1 with Jade Cargill, the WWE Women's title on the line. And when it was all said and done, it was Jade Cargill winning the match, successfully defending the title in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. There's not much to say. This was exactly what I want to see in Jade Cargill. Destruction, easy work, damaging, and just lights out. That's exactly what you want to see in a fighter. That's exactly what you want to see Jade Cargill be. A monster badass and showing the world why she is that damn good. And to me, this was perfect. There was nothing wrong about this story at all. I thought this was perfect. It is worst fight of the night. I get it. Delicious squash, if you want to say it, fine. But for me, personally, this is how you got to book Jade Cargill. I don't care what you do. This is how you book Jade Cargill. They did it brilliantly. WWE Creative, keep this going. This is what I want to see from the women's champion. Anthony, go.
Yeah, the fight's a dud. The match was short. It had several moves that did not look right. Jade Cargill looked dominant, but that was the only upside. The drop kicks from B-Fab did not connect enough. She needs to get closer to her opponent so it doesn't look like she is barely touching them. Jade Cargill's power bombs looked weird, but it was hard to tell if it was her or B-Fab making it look that way. This is the Jade Cargill we have been waiting for ever since she came to WWE. She tried to get over as a babyface, and for a little bit she did, but that was mainly because of Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair helped get her over as a babyface, even though in all honesty, Jade Cargill is much better as a monster badass heel.
Agreed.
It was about damn time that they pulled the trigger on this. Squashing Tiffany Stratton 2 weeks ago at Saturday Night's Main Event, winning the WWE Women's Championship, and then, making quick work of B-Fab, which was expected. And the match was an absolute dud, obviously, and it was the worst fight of the night. But Jade Cargill looked like $1,000,000. She looked like a world beater out there, and she's gonna hold that thing as long as she wants it. And I can't wait to see where this goes next. And like you said, you said it, you made my point for me. I was gonna say the exact same thing. We need more of this. More. That's all I can say on that. So, absolute dud, worst fight of the night. But it was honestly a showcase to for Jade Cargill, which was rightfully so, and have her go go through the competition like a knife through butter, and keep building her as this monster, as an unbeatable monster badass champion. To really justify this, she needs a long run with the title. She needs to have a longer reign than Tiffany did, and whoever they decide to eventually dethrone her, it's got to be somebody extraordinary. It's got to be somebody really special. If it's Charlotte here, it's way too soon. Now I'm not saying she needs a Roman Reigns like title reign. No, not that long. No. I'm thinking at least a year, maybe a little more. If we want to get her over as a Monster Badass champion. Maybe as long as she held that TBS championship in AEW. She held that thing for 508 days. I could see that. I think that's what they should do. But you never know with creative. You never know with creative nowadays. So, just my opinion. So, dud of a fight, but like you said, MF, we need to keep continuing to showcase Jade Cargill as that monster, dominant, badass heel champion like she was in AEW.
Agreed. No doubt about it. All right. So now we're on to the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Big Bronson Reed for the undisputed WWE Championship. Yes, the WWE title on the line, on free television, on Smackdown last night. However, the fight gets thrown out in 5 minutes and 14 seconds because it exploded into a War Games brawl. So we had ourselves, basically everybody started jumping in all at once to get into this. Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, then it was, and then you had the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, come out. And then Drew McIntyre showed up and started wrecking people left and right. And Nick Aldis was in a very pissed off mood. He's like, what the hell is this? What is he doing here? He's suspended. Paul Heyman had a contract says, remember, anybody I want in War Games. That means sorry, Nick, but your suspension clause doesn't mean shit to me when it comes to War Games. McIntyre is in, and he is now player number 4 in the squad. So now it is Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Drew McIntyre on that side. And on the face side, it is Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, main event Jey Uso. There hasn't been an official declaration for Jimmy Uso. I don't think he's officially a part of it. But who knows? But Anthony, Drew McIntyre joins the War Game squad, joining Paul, joining the Vision. Nick Aldis can be pissed off and angry and yelling at Heyman all he wants. But the problem is, like Paul Heyman said, anybody can join the squad. Doesn't matter if you're suspended or not. Drew McIntyre is now part of War Games. Sorry, Nick. Heyman got one over on you.
And I also can confirm that Jimmy Uso is officially on the face team as well. So we got CM Punk, we got Cody Rhodes, we got the Usos versus Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and now Drew McIntyre. With McIntyre being added to this match, we finally have a reason that makes sense for Cody to be in this match. I mean, the only way Cody being in this War Games match would have made sense was if Drew McIntyre was in this match as well. And lo and behold, Drew is now in the match, so this now officially makes sense now. So now we have one spot left on each side, and I'll go into that in just a moment. As far as the match is concerned, it's going to have to be a no rating, honestly. The little bit of match we got was good, but it ended too soon and in a dirty way, which has become a little too commonplace in WWE these days. And the way Bronson Reed moves around is so impressive for a guy of his size. He has actually slimmed down a bit as well. The difference between a few months ago and now is very evident. And that's all I can say there. Now, we'll let the speculation begin now as to who will fill out the respective sides. There were some names being thrown around, but we don't want to give too much away because, you know, like MF said when we did Ridiculously Raw on Tuesday night, let's wait and see who ends up rounding out the team, the respective teams, and then we can let you know if we were right about it or not. I think I have an idea on who it is on both. I think I have the idea of who's going to round out both teams. But, you know, we're going to pump the brakes, and I'll let you know if these were the final two guys or not when we get there. I'm hopeful that when we get to Raw Monday night in Madison Square Garden, that's when we round it out both ways. I got a feeling it will be because it's too big.
I think so too. I think once we get to the Garden, I think number 5s will be revealed.
And they're not just any number 5s. They're going to be massive number 5s.
Yeah.
So, NA for the match. Great development, though. So, I don't know what else there is to say, except I'm going to take the overall review for a spin here because I'm locked and loaded and ready to go with that. Another 6 to 6.5. Last night's Smackdown was a bit of a mixed bag. We did get a couple of good matches and some storyline developments, but a couple of bouts fell short, and the main event had a lackluster ending. We all knew Bronson Reed was not going to win the title during a random match set up the same night, but that doesn't mean WWE has to book another interference finish. The best thing we got on the entire show was Ilya Dragunov versus Axiom, which should not surprise anyone who has been watching the Mad Dragons run as the United States champion. The War Games matches are beginning to take shape, so we should find out who the final members of both teams are next week. 6.5. Nothing more for me to say. Take us home, MF.
6.5 out of 10 for me. Yes, solid show. Really not much to say on that. Anthony, you alluded to everything, and well done. And we're done. We're out of here. So Tuesday night, Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. Turning Point, Danny's got the Monday Night Raw and the NXT show. Thursday is another edition of College Football Thursday. Yep. And then after that, Friday's NFL Friday. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again. Cerebral Smack Talk right here on Race Fan 95. Anthony Florio, thank you as always. Thank you guys as always. Like the video, leave a comment, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you all on Tuesday night.
Goodbye.